Alright, so it's been 5 days since we had our concoction sitting on the dryer here. Smells stinky. Okay, cool. So let's skim all the junk and put it into our big boiling flask. Okay, so first off, I'm gonna start by just scoop in the. I don't even know what this would be, like cheese curds, artificial cheese curds. It's gross, whatever it is. It smells like alcoholic bread. We're about to bust out our hydrometer though, and after I get all these mashed potatoes skimmed out of it. It's too thick to even let liquid through the sieve. After that, we're going to bust out the hydrometer, and we're going to see if it'll tell us there's a little cursory alcohol level in here or not. Yeah, so this is really interesting. So this is like, I just kind of drained some of it into this cloth. So we're trying to get the juice, the liquid, but as you can see, we have a fair bit of clump still in it. I'm like, what is all of that? Is it mold? Is it, because I mean, like, mass-wise, that's got to be like 5 pounds of material. Now, I didn't put 5 pounds of dry goods in there, so where's all this mass come from? I don't know. It's separating to the bottom, though. That's actually separating pretty quickly. So yeah, I'm going to try to just get all this fluff out of the bottom, and then just the juice is what we're going to try to distill. We'll try to put some of this juice in a hydrometer, see how much alcohol's in it. I'll tell you right now, though, it worked. I smell the alcohol in it. So maybe that was just from the sugar that they already added to the baby formula, and our malt extract didn't break down any of the starches in the sugar. So I'm going to go off of. Persephone agrees. But I don't know, it smelled, there's something in it, enough that it comes through. I keep saying it, but we're going to check it right now. Alright, I got a vacuum, I got my liquid, I got a pot, I got a sucky hose. Maybe we can make something do here. We'll be right back. My technician is hard at work making sure the vacuum's working. Is everything looking okay there, Mick? She says the cable checks out. Okay, so yeah, so in the name of science, and as I've been reminded, I don't want to go out like Mary Curie, so we're not going to experiment on ourselves. So instead of sucking out the tainted baby formula from the hose, we're going to try vacuum style. Okay. Actually worked pretty good. I didn't get contaminated with E. coli. Okay, now I just gotta make. Alright, now I just gotta make sure we don't suck up any of that effluvium in the bottom. But we want to try to decant all of the good liquid off the top too, so we'll see how much I get. This should be enough for me to test it with the hydrometer at least. It's a lot clearer. Gosh. Alrighty, so we've decanted some of our clearer liquid off. And let's see what the percentage says. That looks like... Let's see. Maybe like 2%, just above 2. Yeah, well, that's 0 for the blue and the green touch, and then the first big tick is 1. So we're like 2.5% alcohol, it looks like. Yeah. Maybe even 3. Okay. So yeah, so we have all that in here too. So we have the heat on. Got our little stir bar going. So as soon as it gets up to temp, as soon as the vapor front reaches up here, so we're gonna keep an eye on it until the vapor front reaches up here, and then I'll bring you back and we should start seeing some drips of methanol coming off the end. All right, we're gonna take this out, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just pour this in here also. And that'll probably cool it down a little bit. It'll probably take like an hour for this thing to get up to heat. This heating mantle's tiny, but should theoretically be hot enough to heat up the ethanol and the methanol. But if it's not, I have a fire I can put under it. I'm hesitant because this is a big old expensive piece of glass. Alright, so only about an hour later, and we can see that our vapor front is finally just about licking the bottom of our thermometer. We can see, because it's not at room temperature anymore, it's climbing more up towards 80. But still not quite there just yet. Oh yeah, you'll see I also had to, I wrapped this thing in aluminum foil because this little magnetic stir thing slash heating mantle, it's mostly just for magnetic stirring is what I'm getting at. I'm getting from this experiment because it says it does 720 degrees Fahrenheit, which is several times the temperature needed to boil water. And this alcohol vapor, the alcohol should be boiling at much less than water, so. Just goes to show you can't always trust what's put on the label. An hour and 18 minutes after we started, and you can see right here in the center we're starting to get distillate has finally started to come over a little bit. It finally, I had to cover it with a towel too just to get it. Big cookie monster ass thing. Just to get it to heat up. I had the stir bar off, but then I saw that there was some stuff settling in the bottom, and I got worried that it was gonna burn, so I turned it on lower. And oh yeah, it's still going up, so it's above 90. It's almost to 100. So I'd say that vapor front has finally kind of brimmed over. So theoretically, you know, this should be like methanol, just kind of like percolating in here. We're just kind of waiting to capture enough of it that it can actually boop, boop. I tell you what, even if this does eventually produce like a drop of methanol, and it is getting up there, I put another towel on top of it, and it's almost at 110. But yeah, the juice is just not worth the squeeze. We're at an hour and a half after I've started it, so I'm just gonna bust out the big guns. Well, that was kind of a bust with this freaking bummer. The coolest thing was definitely the stir bar. You know, I was excited, you know, I was gonna stop it from burning, scoring the bottom of this very scarily expensive piece of glass. But I guess I'm just gonna have to roll the dice with propane. With propane. Alright, we're gonna bust it off the Bunsen burner and we're gonna hook it onto the old cheap Chinese gas stovetop. Okay, boom, that's off. Boom, then we have our little improvised gas knob that we got attached over here. Boom, hooked up. See how fast that heats it. I'm alright, even after I put the gas on and I turned it up just a little more than I'm comfortable. I still wasn't seeing the temperature rise as fast as I would like, so I went ahead and I just put the little suit of armor back on this guy. It looks better with it anyway. So now we're just watching that temp. Oh, and it climbs fast after you wrap it up in tinfoil. I turned the heat up a little too. I'm just really hesitant to like crank this thing because I don't want to like bake the glass to these contact points on this cast iron. Because I kind of roiled on it one time when I first got it, and then when I picked it up, the glass was kind of like stuck to it a little bit. I kind of had to like tink. I did not like that. No, no, no. Okay, well it's kind of plateaued at like 104, 106. If it's going up, it's doing it really slow now. So I'm to the point where I don't really care if I break things. We're just gonna turn it up because I'm tired of waiting. I'll do like that much. That seems like a lot. Yeah, that's the flame licking the bottom of the glass. Let's see if that made the temperature go up immediately. Yes, it did. I want like 1 to 2 drips a second. That's what I need out of this. I guess it's just such a huge thermal mass. I guess that makes sense. It takes a lot of heat just to get stuff to boil in it. It's kind of crazy. Okay, I turned it up even a little more still. Let's see what that. We're approaching 120, Captain. And all I had to do was put it to a heat I'm really uncomfortable with, and looks like we're actually finally starting to make something. Finally, woo! Well, I probably should have been really paying attention whenever the distillate started forming, but it looks like it's about 190, which is good. Means that it's possibly the boiling temp of water in there, though. So we'll see. We're about to get some distillate out, so we'll see what we get. Mistakes were made. Wow, what a potential catastrophe. Okay, so some pros and some cons. Some cons. My table exploded. Some things fell on the floor. Pros. My giant bottle did not blow up. And aside from the table, I think somehow miraculously none of my glass shattered. So, whew. Wow, that sucked. Wow, I seriously can't believe I did that. I mean, I can. Oh, I'm just so glad the bottle didn't explode. It's probably cracked. I should take a closer look at it before I say that, but dear Lord. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, my poor table. Well, I'm just gonna do it on the stovetop from here on out. Okay, where there was chaos, there is still science. We didn't lose my vessel. Miraculously. So, that's okay. It gives us an opportunity to change our setup here a little bit. It seemed like a lot of steam was going to the top because it's got a bigger neck. And I have a bigger distillation head for this, so we're going to change things up. Lickety split. Alright, electric stovetop was probably always the way to go. So we changed it up to this bigger distillation head, which fits on here better. So I think a bigger column of steam is going to be allowed to come through. It'll be easier to see the steam front. You can already see it's working its way through. So yeah, wow. My precious. Give me some distillate, dang it. This worked just for a little go-go juice for my milk missile. Gosh. This is working much better than the other sources of heat. It's a little hard to pick up on the camera, but you might be able to see the vapor front. Yeah, I see the vapor. It's already right there. So when it gets right here, it's gonna have a little easier time. Bloop, dropping through. And we lost the thermometer, which kind of sucks. I could attach it right here, but I don't have just like a single piece. It's alright. We know what theoretical temperature is going on in here, so have it on 5, which for my oven is like medium heat, and it's cooking pretty good with, I mean, you can see the steam rising up pretty easily. So alright, so once it just starts boiling, it just takes off. Like, yeah, it takes off. Nothing. The blind maker, a little bit of the distillate in a baby food jar just for teehees and tahas. Oh, I'm so scared. Hold this for me, yeah? Smells alcoholic. I don't know, maybe methanol's not flammable. Okay, getting a little hot there. It's probably getting a little boil over. Nice and warm. For sure. Turn it down a little too hot. Should still make, should still make plenty of distillate like this. And once we have a cup of distillate, we'll be able to put it in the hydrometer and see what our new result is. Alright, it looks like we're finally just about at the point where we have about a cup, but I think that's enough. So I'm gonna switch it out with this. Our flawless, warm, stinky distillate. But alright, let's fill this up. There should be enough to check out. I'm excited to see how much alcohol's in it now. Let's concentrate. Oh, this is so how everything that does goes. Somehow I've lost alcoholic content. What's in the bottom? Fantastic. I just produced really dangerous, annoying, stinky water. Science. It's a good thing this isn't a test and we're not being timed, because we're just gonna stick this here, funnel back in. Oh my gosh. Is it in? Okay. And then we're just gonna drop this back in. I'm thinking I must just be boiling it at far too high temperature. I don't even know how that's possible. Oh, man, I must be doing something wrong. I really must be doing something wrong. No. It's weird. Okay, awesome. So I thought about it for a second. I have a second hydrometer that's for moonshine. So this first hydrometer maxes out at... what percentage does this max out at? Let's find out. 20% is what it maxes out at. So I don't know, maybe that's tripping it up. Because when I dropped this one in here, because this goes up to 100% proof. This goes up to 200 proof, which is also known as 100%. So I dropped this bad boy in, and the proof of this one is saying it's about it's hard to read, but 35 proof, which would make it close to 15%. Okay, yeah, so it looks like we have about, yeah, that's about 35 proof, or, yeah, it looks like almost like 18% alcohol. Ethanol, methanol, 18% solvent of some kind. So we're getting there. I wouldn't drink it, you'd go blind. And I don't know why 18%. That's so weird. So that means on this one, I mean, it goes to 20% right there. It should float at this line. It should go boing. But maybe because it's methanol and ethanol. We'll see. I like the flow rate I had before. I turned it down a little bit. We'll let it pick that back up. This is working much better than the other sources of heat. It's a little hard to pick up on the camera, but you might be able to see the vapor front. Yeah, I see the vapor. It's already right there. So when it gets right here, it's gonna have a little easier time. Bloop, dropping through. And we lost the thermometer, which kind of sucks. I could attach it right here, but I don't have just like a single piece. It's all right. We know what theoretical temperature is going on in here, so I have it on 5, which for my oven is like medium heat, and it's cooking pretty good with, I mean, you can see the steam rising up pretty easily. So all right, so once it just starts boiling, it just takes off. Like, yeah, it takes off. Methanol. the blind maker. A little bit of the distillate in a baby food jar just for teehees and tahas. Oh, I'm so scared. Hold this for me, yeah? Smells alcoholic. I don't know, maybe methanol's not flammable. Okay, getting a little hot there. It's probably getting a little boil over. Nice and warm. For sure. Turn it down a little too hot. Should still make, should still make plenty of distillate like this. Now once we have a cup of distillate, we'll be able to put it in the hydrometer and see what our new result is. Alright, it looks like we're finally just about at the point where we have about a cup, but I think that's enough. So I'm gonna switch it out with this. Our flawless, warm, stinky distillate. But alright, let's fill this up. This should be enough to check out. I'm excited to see how much alcohol's in it now. Let's concentrate. Oh, this is so how everything it does goes. Somehow we've lost alcoholic content. Not touching the bottom. Fantastic. I just produced really dangerous, annoying, stinky water. Science. This is a good thing this isn't a test and we're not being timed, because we're just gonna stick this here funnel back in. Oh my gosh. Is it in? Okay. And then we're just gonna drop this back in. I'm thinking I must just be boiling it at far too high temperature. I don't even know how that's possible. Oh, man, I must be doing something wrong. I really must be doing something wrong. No. It's weird. Okay, awesome. So I thought about it for a second. I have a second hydrometer that's for moonshine. So this first hydrometer maxes out at, what percentage does this max out at? Let's find out. 20% is what it maxes out at. So I don't know, maybe that's tripping it up. Because when I dropped this one in here, because this goes up to 100% proof. This goes up to 200 proof, which is also known as 100%. So I dropped this bad boy in, and the proof of this one is saying it's about it's hard to read, but 35 proof, which would make it close to 15%. Okay, yeah, so it looks like we have about, yeah, that's about 35 proof, or, yeah, it looks like almost like 18% alcohol, methanol, 18% solvent of some kind. So we're getting there. I wouldn't drink it, you'd go blind. And I don't know why 18%. That's so weird. So that means on this one, I mean, it goes to 20% right there. It should float at this line. It should go boing. But maybe because it's methanol and ethanol. We'll see. I like the flow rate I had before. I turned it down a little bit. We'll let it pick that back up. Alright, so next, while we're at it, so we're going to make something with some high octane. So here we have, I think this is like Kool-Aid, and like just like sugar, and this is like powdered sugar. And I weighed them both on my little scale over there, and they're like, it's like 5 pounds approximately of sugar. So we're going to dump that in here, and then we're just going to use the rest of whatever this yeast is. Okay. Whatever's left in here, we're gonna use it. Just gonna toss it in some water, and nothing special about this. A little warm water, some sugar, some yeast. That should make alcohol. Pretty high yield, hopefully. We're gonna find out. This one was a complicated endeavor because we didn't add any sugar. We made this out of completely converted sugar from the cornstarch or whatever additives or filler they had in our toxic baby formula. Our toxic baby formula distillate. Alright. Don't distract me, Minna. I'm gonna add the sugar. I'm gonna add some warm water and the sugar, and I'll pop this yeast in. And I'm gonna pop this cute little airlock on too. Alright, that red dye number 40 is a fierce dye. It turned the entire thing red. So, I don't know, I was thinking about maybe possibly drinking this. There's nothing toxic in it. I washed the barrel. I have a little airlock for it. I don't know, we'll see. I might drink this if it turns out good. I don't know. Well, this should be a lot more yield because I put like 5 pounds of just like sugar. So, we'll see. I'm thinking the yield of the alcohol will be a lot higher than 2% in 5 days. We'll see. Alright, well, here it is. I went ahead and stopped the still because I kept checking the percent of alcohol with the hydrometer here, and I think you remember earlier that the alcohol was 18%, somewhere around there. After I took that fraction and I added it, and I took it again, it was about 12%. I just tossed in the rest of what was in there, and this final product is 10% alcohol, just because, just not a lot in here. There's only 2% in here to start, 2.5. So we concentrated that down to 10% in here. 10% of this is pure alcohol. So we might do another distillation of this. This ain't nothing. Oh, it stinks so bad. This is a good prank to just go open this under somebody's bed. Oh my gosh. Well, we got our sugar shine. Once that comes down to 95 degrees, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pitch all of our yeast. And then we're going to put our cap on it, and we're just going to put it to bed. And then we're going to do that 5 days with this, and it's going to be so much more yield. I can feel it. Let it rain. Okay, look, no particulate at the bottom. Just sugar. Sugary water. Looks like a half a knuckles height of particulate at the top. See, it was similar last time, but then like when we came back, it was like this much particulate. So things multiply or something. I hope the red dye 40 doesn't like kill the yeast. Probably won't. Alright, I guess I'll just put it away, and we'll come back and check on it in 5 days. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to cleaning that. Stay tuned next time, where we turn that delicious red juice into some even more delicious red juice. Maybe less red.